Hello people, here's another quick guide that I'm just going to talk you through some of the research options that you have in this game. Now, the web for research in Civilization Beyond Earth is a little more, initially it's a little more complicated because it's a web, so it's a little bit daunting to begin with. You start at the beginning of the game and work your way out from the middle. Now as you move further from the middle, then the cost for the research in terms of time increases greatly. When you begin the game, you're not going to be able to research things like transgenics in 3 turns. That will require your science to be increased. When you do start though, you'll be beginning to pick some of these things from the center of the research web. You can pick further outwards, but what it will do is it will research the ones that it needs to get to as if it's a road with roadblocks on. So if I wanted to research genetic design and I hadn't researched habitation, it would research the main parent body of habitation, and then it would move to the parent of genetics, then it would move to genetic design. The things below it you then would need to further select in order to do that. So I'll show you an example here with alien sciences. If I change my research to alien ecology, it will research the parent alien sciences. It will skip alien adaptation, but it will unlock alien ecology for me. You can queue these things by clicking further ones, which will then sort of add them onto your list. So if I wanted to research alien ethics, it would have to research alien sciences and then alien ethics. If I picked artificial evolution, it would need to have researched the parent of transgenics, then artificial evolution. And then if I wanted to pick alien materials and queue that, it would need to have gone through the same things to unlock it to do that. Now, some of the details about the research screen. You really need to consider in this game what kind of route you're going through. I'll talk about purity, harmony and supremacy, which is this icon. These affinities in a separate guide just to explain what they mean. But if you're playing through any of those routes, which is essential to do to win in this game, you need to consider your research is focused. You don't need to go 100%, but I reckon 90% of the choices you make need to be based around unlocking those abilities. That is in order to unlock your level. So here I'm level 17 in purity. I've focused very, very closely in my research to make sure that I'm unlocking the ones that are most specifically linked to purity, and then you get these extra benefits and bonuses as well as the research that you've got. So at purity level 1, aliens don't attack tiles with explorer units, which is very, very good when you're moving around the map. And then when you work your way up to 13, Exodus Gate, this is one of your victories. So I'll go through victories in a separate video, but you will need to unlock these levels of purity, supremacy or harmony in order to actually get to the end game. And the quicker you can do that, then the better a chance you have of winning. So the ones that are purity will be highlighted in the red icons, and the ones that are harmony will be sort of kind of a teal colour, and then supremacy is the yellow shield. So as you unlock these abilities, some of them will give you extra affinity towards purity or whatever it is you're going for, as well as the other researches. So you can see as I move around here, I've deliberately tried to pick ones that are relevant to the purity affinity. Some other things that I haven't touched yet, I've gone based on my relevance for what I need to actually do with it. So I've skipped alien life forms here and I've gone to genetic mapping, and I've also unlocked the gene vault. One of the best routes to go, it depends entirely on the type of city that you want to do really. So I would try and pick things that on this one were more to do with science and were all related around making more energy and keeping the health up, as well as ticking my purity affinity. So a good option if you want a lot of energy is to go down the chemistry, biology and end up at the bioengineering route, because that will give you a lot of energy at buildings that will produce a lot of energy. If you wanted to go down a more militaristic route, that would lead you down the supremacy path, which would end up going towards this side of the research web. So you'd be making some more powerful machines and military units. That comes anyway as part of the game. As you move through some of the more complex ones, you will get more powerful units, and that's just part of the route through. One thing that I will point out, because it's took me a little while to find out, is habitation is almost essential, and pioneering and planetary survey to begin with. It's very, very worthwhile focusing on that one to begin with, and unlocking all of those routes if you can do to start with, purely because you'll need to unlock the work barge, because otherwise you can't you can't work tiles in water, so you won't be able to get like algae and things like that, which are essential for some production and essential for making energy. You won't be able to have colonists. Trade routes are absolutely essential in this game. I've got another video which will explain that as well. Trade convoy, trade vessels, absolutely essential for doing it. Explorers are really, really important and crucial if you want to go and unlock as many sort of science points or production points depending on a quest that you'll get. As you go through the game, you'll need to try and explore as much as you can, unlocking relics, so that's essential, and you get your first attacking units as well as a cultural unit there. So habitation is a starting point, and then the easiest way to do it in your first 3 playthroughs is to just look which affinity you decide to go through. You have to be consistent in this game. You cannot go halfway through the game researching things with supremacy affinities and then switch into purity, because you won't be able to do that route in time. Even playing on the Mercury difficulty, which is the normal difficulty, you'll find that, for example, in this game I was 100% focused and I still unlocked the Exodus gate at the same point as one of the AI characters. So you need to make sure you're really, really focused. You can't chop and change. I'll go through the intro options as well in a separate video, which will help you to make a decision on picking your sponsors and picking your starter equipment, which is called a seeded start. That is a brief overview of the research map then. Like I say, the easiest way to do it is to focus on your affinities and then to build around those. Have a look at the affinities video, which I'll be putting up shortly, which will tell you sort of the things that you want to research if you were following those specific affinities. So what is that affinity like? What kind of units do you want to make? What kind of actions and behaviours do you want to follow? Thanks for watching, guys.